we move to chapter 1's number 4 subchapter, getting user inputs. I will always put our reference, the mind map, the subset of the mind map here, so that you can see the highlighted content that I will mention during the current video. We already finished the first 3, and this one we will introduce the generic user inputs method. Then to tell you, these are common tactic that we will use that in the later programming as well, but we introduce during these user inputs to see how you can handle the exception and how to handle the invalid input, and also how you can get inputs not only for integer or float or string, but also are some complicated data type like fractions and complex numbers we learned in the 3rd subchapter. And then let's go to our contents. Before we go to that, I have updated the chapters information here. So if you go to the chapter, I think it's we don't have yet the sample code. We can still use the IDLE or the terminal. So and during the last time, I have our open question left. Which means I am putting here. So in the mind map, I have starting to add something that if you install the free plan, then you can access some more branch. So how to clear the screen? So looks like last time is we cannot clear screen when we do those command inputs. So there's 2 ways as I explored from the different source. So let me make that smaller. So first is if you use the VS Code, you open our terminal. So this terminal is the Python. So you have like you can key in something. So and times and you have the mass, the screens, and if you want to the clear. So I put this, that's the first method in VS Code terminal. You can use the OS command. So import OS, then OS system, use single quote. Then you can see now ignore this 0 because 0 is the result of this running, but your those mass the inputs have been cleared. So, but this way is not working for this IDLE. So, if you let's open the IDLE. So, if I put in here and I go to IDLE. So here is the 3.9. Let's try this 3.11 as well. So if I have something like this here, so I make those something. But if I try to import OS, we did this last time, and then use OS system clear. In 3.9, it's not working. And you can see in 3.11, it's similar. So it's run something, but they cannot clear the historical those commands. So what I try to search something is there's a code is a tricky way, so, but it's still easy, worth for you to learn. So what we do is no matter import something, you just define our meaningful command. Let's see the clear is our command, and we define this as a function, and we just print the necessary the lines of the enter. So I put 40. So then enter again, so you have clear. So then if you have a CLS, you can see here, it's not a real the screen clear because it's actually your historical command is here. But because you are adding the 40 the empty lines through the enter, then that looks like it's your look and feel. The screen is not so busy. I should say is you can test yourself. In my just default IDLE shell window, 40 the screens 40 lines are almost enough. It's clear, but you can see is maybe you can have 30, 35. But if you make that like more than 40, it will have some digest. For example, is I can show you. So if you define this like bigger, so like I want to see maybe 100, then CLS. You can see the idle shell is squeezed those lines for you. So they don't think it's you want to actually insert 100 empty lines. So 40 is one proper the values that can serve our purpose. But actually, I don't think it's, this will be our real way that we need to do the clear screen. So just I want to recap this open question we left last time. Then I will not use idle. I used here. So then I have this OS systems CLS command can help me to clear the terminal. So that is the way I want to share with you. And also, please install the free plan. So that is, I will show in the cover page of a certain structure of the sub-chapter, but I will not show more detail. But once we finish the one chapter learning is actually I will try to digest the key contents in the book and putting that into this mind map. So gradually this mind map will equip the key information of the book, like it's a basic mathematical operation. You have this plus the minus, multiply and division, and also have this exponential, both the square root, cubed root as the vice versa operation, and also have this the order of the operation. So those are the key concepts or key definition information. I will put that here so that you can have more reference without back to the book. Similarly, is the chapter 2 is no much information, but last video we discussed about the type of the data, and also we discussed about the fractions and the complex. So those are the key information also put in here. And for today is when we talk about is how you can handle the fractions and the complex number as inputs. You can use this mind map to revert back if you forgot something. And also this mind map is I have keep extracting to the markdown instead of go to the detail image. So markdown is if you look at here is have the hierarchy of the chapters. And then you can see here they have those different levels with the content. And what I show you here on the data type, fraction, complex number, the key lines in those different levels are also put in here. So you can have those information cross-reference. So the easier way for you is you can come to this repository, and either you make the fork or you just download this regularly. So then you can have the latest information once I put in that. So let's go to today's content. So how you can get user input is very the easy or direct is the Python gave you this input function. So if I assign the bind this input into A. So that means is I will ask a user to input something through keyboard, and whatever they input and with are entered, then the input characters will be assigned to A. So let's make that is like ABC. So now A is our ABC. So with the single quote means this is a string. But we can also make A as 1, showing in this book's sample. But when I now is put A, enter, is 1 with a single quote. What this single quote means, that is a string. Even it looks like our number 1, but it's not our either integer or float, it's our string. So if you want to do A plus 1, you will get error, because this error is looks is if you want to do this addition operation, you can only do that within between two numbers. But now the A is our string, not integer. So it looks like it's you want to do some the concatenate, but the second one is not a string. So they are mismatch on the data type, so you cannot do that. But the interesting thing is if I put this A times 5, could you guess what I get? So that means I have a 5A. So I get this string replicate by 5 times. So that is the operating way for the string. But it's also not like our number, but because if I treat A as a 1 as a number, then A times 5 should be 5. So that again is showing is A is a number. How I can make A as an integer is you remember last video we did this integer. So the command, so if I put this int and put A inside, then if I do this now, you can see the int A is our integer. Similarly, is if I do the float A and the plus 1, now we convert A as the string into a float number, and plus 1 is also our result as our float number. So that is the A's as the inputs. So we come to here, but the thing is, if I put A equal to input, and I input 2.0, so that is here. So now let's see, A is 2.0. Can I do int A? No, because you can see invalid literal for int with base 10, because the 2.0 is have our the floating the point and the floating number after the point. So that is not able to be converted into the int. So, but vice versa is okay. Like what we did is if you input are just the whole number, but definitely this is treated as a string first, but you can add the floating point and R0 after floating point to convert that to float. So from string to our float is no such restriction, but if you input our floating number like this kind of a string cannot be converted to int. So that is the point that we need to let you know. And again, is if I input A, and I input is our fraction, looks like is this 3.5. So A is actually is our string with 3, 4, and between is our slash. So all these 3 are character. So it's not identified as a number. So if I do the integer first, int A, you got is you cannot do this, but now I do the floating. You can also get is you cannot convert a string to float because here we have our cannot handle the character. So that is the second small part. Later on we talk about is how we can input our fraction, as well as how we can input our complex numbers, so that also cannot convert easily. So, but before that is you saw several times about the value arrow, traceback arrows, or type arrows. So let's first talk about a little bit about how you can handle the exception. So all those traceback and pop-up arrows are certain exception, because you either input or invalid the inputs values, or you try to do some operation that trigger certain assumption or exception. So this is the common or the very normal the activities when you do the programming. So in any language, you should know how to handle the exception. So in Python, the exception handling, we use try except. So that is, you can find some similarity for certain other language, but Python try to remember try with a comma, then is with the 3 dots that like are indent. Then you can do try this floating, like it's input, please enter a number. Let's give a space. Then now you have 2 parentheses. And you can see here, so if I do this way, so I cannot put that is a try. Let's see. So invalid except our indent block after try expected. So we need to do our self indent. So a equal to float input. You can use either single or double quotes. Please enter a number. If I use a single, you can see now expect the indent and then accept value arrow. Because if I use a float input and I get our such kind of a fraction-like string, I trigger a value arrow. Sometimes I trigger certain the type arrow. So these are the value arrow. But if I do the conversion, I also trace the type arrow. So let's try to handle the value arrow. So putting that enter with another indent. So in Python, when you see our comma, you need to go to our indent in the next line. So print, you have entered an invalid number. So this is your customized message. If you don't have this try except, then when they come into the value arrow, they will give you such kind of system, those message. So now I put here, please enter a number. So if I go to the 3 divided by 4, so you have entered our invalid number. So the system, the traceback value arrow, so all those built-in message is replaced by your customized message. So this one to end user, they will feel more user-friendly because they will feel comfortable because looks like it's you as a programmer, you are controlling the situation, not just throw to the system back. So try except is they can detect is whenever is a value arrow, they will help you to throw your customized message to end user. So that is like this way. And then if I put A is you can also specify a prompt with input, so which like what we did. So if I put not our arrow. So if I put is input, just is input and integer. So that means we gave some those prompt or idea or the reminder for user is I need our integer. Don't give me our floating number. So if I put in this, then I get an integer, then I will be very full confidence to convert this into an integer, because user may have got soft restriction is they don't give you our floating number. So like this way, then I can use that to do the integer operating. And if I got such kind of the value arrow, so this works great if the user input an integer. But as we saw earlier, if the input is a floating point, we'll get our this value arrow. So what we can do here is in order to avoid this number value arrow, so we could set up a value arrow catch like the one, like the try, except the value arrow. That way the program would catch the floating point numbers, which won't work in the program. I mean, for integer. However, it would also flag numbers like 1.0, 2.0, which Python C as floating numbers, point numbers, but they are equivalent to the integer that would work just fine. So to get around this, we use the check. So this is integer is our method. So if we do such as, for example, this is a floating, and we have a dot and is integer, then I will get a true or false, or yes or no, the answer. So if I put is like 4 is integer, I will get is integer float is integer. Let me see, 5 int object has no attribute is integer. So this well, we can only check is the floating number. So those if I got is like a pi is integer, then I will get false. So we call this method to check whether these are integer. So if I put is a 5.0, so that is the interest you need to pay attention. 5.0 is true. So 1.1 is false. When the method is called with 1.0 is true, we can use this one is integer to filter out non-integer input while keeping the input like 1.0, which is expressed as a floating point number, but is equivalent to our integer. So that will be, but if you put that 1.0, so you got 1. And if you put this 1.1, you got 1 as well. So, but 1.0, you convert that to 1 is still the equivalent on the value level. But 1.1, you get just the floor, the integer. So that is not the equivalent on the level base. So that's why is using this float numbers method is integer or not. Will check whether they have only the 0 after the floating point. So this is one thing is you need to remember and try to use that if you have. And then this, I think it's a OS system. Let's try this. So you can see now, well, we can use that to clear the screen. Now let's move to the second small part is how you can input the fraction and the complex number. We know is if I put is a is a fraction. So if we put that is first, let's just have the input. Enter one fraction. If you have a single quote, you finish that with a single quotes. So I put this 3/4. Then is fraction a. So you got that is now the type a is a string, but fraction a. So let's say a equal to, let's say b equal to fraction a, and type b is the fraction. I already import fraction during the last video, so it's still working. So you use this fraction to convert fraction-like inputs into a real fraction number. And but the key thing is if you put a fraction, it's like our division. So this you cannot use 3 zeros. So that is not the valid fraction. So you will trigger a 0 division error. So that is the this new. You cannot put that like this way. So that's the normal one, and we can use this try except to catch the 0 division error, and we put our invalid the fraction. So that is one more try for sample for try except. Then let's see the complex. Complex is the same as the fraction. Is you just convert that to the complex using the complex conversion the command. So if I put this z is input, enter one complex number, and I put this 3 plus 7j. So type z is a string, and let's see y equal to complex z. Now y, you see, have a parenthesis. That's the a way to display complex number, and also y is complex. So if I see is a is equal to 5, and the complex a, you get this for the imaginary parts is 0. So if I say b is complex a, then type b also are complex, but type a is integer. So that is the different way, but you can promoting our integer to one complex number with those imaginary parts with as a 0j. So so that is the way you can put our complex, but you cannot have the space. That is one thing is highlighted because if we have the space, when we convert that to complex, it cannot automatically remove this space before and after this addition this symbol. So it's a good idea that also if you have our try and the except the weapon on your hand now, you can catch this value arrow and then give our user-friendly message to say, oh, you're writing in some the invalid way. Please use the inputs without space, something like that. So that this will conclude this subchapter. I hope is you can try those in the beginning what I mentioned, how to clear the screen. So let's try again in the OS code. VS Code is I use this way to clear screen, and then this try yourself is with the different way to get inputs from keyboards, and also utilize this try except to handle certain exception. And now you can have the input with string type, integer type, floating type, fraction type, and the complex number type. So I hope you have those on hand. And next video, we are starting to write certain program that using the math, and gradually I will start to save some the real program with the py extension into our ready folder, so that you can have those sample code putting into the repository. So thank you for your watching. See you in the next video.